Welcome the spicy lady. Some of the greatest advantages in life are invisible until the day they are tested. That is especially true for the spicy lady Sigma. Her greatest strengths are not the kind that impress people at first glance. They are built quietly through experience, careful observation, difficult lessons, and choices that most people never notice. While others spend years chasing quick results, she develops qualities that continue to serve her long after the excitement fades. What makes these advantages unfair is that they cannot be borrowed, copied, or faked. They come from learning how people really behave, understanding the difference between appearances and reality, and making decisions that protect long-term peace instead of short-term comfort. These are the kinds of strengths that help a person avoid mistakes, recover from setbacks, and stay grounded when life becomes unpredictable. I end this video. We are going beyond the usual stereotypes and uncovering 10 powerful advantages that truly set the spicy lady Sigma apart. Some of these ideas may challenge the way you see strength, success, and even relationships. Others may explain experiences you've had, but could never quite put into words. Make sure you stay with us until the very end because each point builds on the one before it, and together they reveal a much deeper picture. As you watch, share your thoughts in the comments and tell us which advantage speaks to you the most. If you enjoy content like this, please share this video and subscribe to join our community. Thank you for your support. Now let's get started. The spicy lady. Number 1. She recognizes emotional debt before financial debt. People think loans create obligation. Often, emotional favors create even stronger chains. Point 1 of the biggest advantages the spicy lady Sigma has is that she understands something many people only learn after getting hurt. Not every debt comes with a bill. Some of the most expensive debts are emotional, and they can quietly control a person's life for years. She pays close attention to how people give. There is a big difference between generosity and investment. A generous person helps because they genuinely care. An investor helps because they expect something back later. The problem is that many people hide their expectations behind kindness. They offer support, gifts, opportunities, or constant favors. Then one day they remind you of everything they have done and expect loyalty, obedience, or access in return. The spicy lady Sigma notices these patterns early. She understands that the words, "after everything I have done for you," are often a warning sign that the favor was never truly free. That is why she is careful about accepting help from people who make everything feel like a transaction. Think about a workplace where a manager gives one employee special treatment. At first, it feels like kindness. Later, that same manager expects the employee to ignore unfair behavior or stay silent because they owe them. What looked like support slowly becomes control. The same thing happens in friendships and relationships. Someone keeps doing favors that were never requested, only to use them later as emotional leverage. Many people feel trapped because they confuse gratitude with lifelong obligation. The spicy lady Sigma believes gratitude is important, but she also knows it should never cost her peace, honesty, or freedom. She would rather solve her own problems than become dependent on someone who keeps score. This mindset protects her from manipulation that many people never even notice. She understands that the most dangerous chains are often invisible. They are built with favors, guilt, and unspoken expectations instead of locks and keys. Once you recognize those invisible chains, it becomes much easier to protect your independence and build relationships based on mutual respect instead of hidden conditions. Number 2. She becomes more dangerous as life gets harder. Pressure breaks many people because their identity depends on comfort. Most people believe a hard life automatically creates a broken person. The spicy lady Sigma has learned that this is not always true. Some people become weaker every time life gets harder because they have built their identity around comfort, certainty, and things going their way. When those things disappear, so does their confidence. The spicy lady Sigma is different. Every difficult season teaches her something that an easy life never could. She does not enjoy pain, but she refuses to waste it. Every disappointment sharpens her judgment. Every betrayal teaches her who deserves a place in her life. Every failure forces her to develop skills she would never have learned if everything had gone smoothly. While others ask, "Why is this happening to me?" she eventually starts asking, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" That simple shift changes everything. Think about someone who loses a job without warning. One person spends months blaming the company and waiting for life to become fair again. The spicy lady Sigma allows herself to feel the disappointment, but she also begins learning new skills, building new connections, and preparing for opportunities that did not exist before. What looked like the end becomes the beginning of something stronger. The same thing happens after heartbreak. Many people become afraid to trust anyone again, or they rush into another relationship just to avoid feeling lonely. The spicy lady Sigma takes time to understand what the experience revealed about herself. She becomes wiser instead of more bitter. That is why difficult times often produce a version of her that is far more capable than the one that existed before. She becomes calmer because panic has never solved a real problem. She becomes more patient because she knows rushing usually creates bigger mistakes. She becomes harder to deceive because experience has trained her eyes to notice what words try to hide. Life keeps testing her, but every test quietly adds another layer of wisdom. In the end, hardship stops being something that destroys her. It becomes the very thing that builds the strength, clarity, and resilience that other people mistake for natural talent when it was actually earned through experience. Number 3. She has learned that every freedom has a price: freedom from debt, freedom from drama, freedom from addiction, freedom from toxic relationships. One lesson the spicy lady Sigma learns earlier than most people is that freedom is never free. Every kind of freedom comes with a price tag. The question is not whether you will pay. The question is when you will pay and whether you choose the price yourself or let life choose it for you. Many people want freedom from debt, but they do not want to control their spending. They want financial peace while continuing habits that keep them trapped. The spicy lady Sigma understands that real freedom may mean saying no to unnecessary purchases. Living below her means for a while, or walking away from the pressure to impress people. She knows that temporary discipline often creates lasting peace. The same truth applies to drama. Everyone says they hate drama, yet many people continue entertaining gossip, unnecessary arguments, and relationships filled with constant conflict. The spicy lady Sigma knows that a peaceful life sometimes requires difficult decisions. It may mean ending friendships that no longer bring trust, limiting access to people who thrive on chaos, or refusing to respond. Every time someone tries to pull her into an argument, freedom from addiction also demands a price. Whether it is social media, unhealthy habits, or emotional dependence on other people, breaking free is uncomfortable. There are moments of loneliness, boredom, and self-doubt. Most people quit because the process feels harder than the habit. The spicy lady Sigma accepts that discomfort is often the entrance fee to a better life. The hardest freedom of all is freedom from toxic relationships. Walking away can feel painful because history, memories, and emotions make people stay longer than they should. She understands that staying simply because leaving hurts often creates even greater pain later. That is what makes her different. She does not chase an easy life. She chooses a meaningful one. She accepts the short-term sacrifices that many people avoid because she knows those sacrifices eventually become peace, self-respect, and genuine freedom. In the end, the price of discipline is almost always smaller than the price of regret. And she refuses to let regret become the cost of her future. Number 4. She doesn't need an enemy to feel strong. Weak people constantly search for someone to defeat. One of the quietest strengths of the spicy lady Sigma is that she does not need conflict to feel powerful. Some people always seem to be fighting someone. If they are not arguing with a family member, they are competing with a friend. If they are not jealous of a coworker, they are trying to prove they are better than a stranger. Online, their confidence depends on defeating someone else. The spicy lady Sigma sees life differently. She understands that constantly looking for enemies is exhausting. It steals time, drains energy, and keeps a person emotionally tied to people who are not worth the attention. She would rather invest that energy into becoming wiser, stronger, and more capable than she was yesterday. Think about 2 women who receive criticism at work. One spends weeks trying to expose the person who criticized her. She talks about it every day and becomes consumed by the need to win. The spicy lady Sigma listens carefully, keeps what is useful, ignores what is not, and goes back to improving herself. Months later, one person is still fighting the same battle while the other has already moved forward. This does not mean she allows people to disrespect her. Far from it. She knows when to set boundaries and when to walk away. The difference is that she does not make revenge her life mission. She refuses to let someone else's behavior decide where her energy goes. She also understands that the hardest person to outgrow is the person she used to be. The habits that held her back, the fears that kept her small, and the mistakes she repeated are the real challenges worth facing. Every time she becomes more patient, more disciplined, or more emotionally aware, she wins a battle that actually changes her future. That is why she is so difficult to shake. Her confidence is not built on making other people lose. It is built on becoming a better version of herself, one decision at a time. When your focus is growth instead of rivalry, you stop giving unnecessary people power over your emotions. That kind of strength cannot be taken away because it comes from within, not from defeating someone else. Number 5. She understands that people reveal their character through convenience. Anyone can appear loyal when loyalty is easy. One of the greatest advantages the Spicy Lady Sigma has is that she does not judge people only by what they say. She pays close attention to what they do when doing the right thing becomes difficult. That is because she has learned a simple truth. Character is easy to display when it costs nothing. The real test comes when honesty, loyalty, and integrity demand a personal sacrifice. Almost everyone can be kind when life is going well. Almost everyone can promise support when there is nothing to lose. But what happens when keeping that promise becomes inconvenient? What happens when telling the truth could cost someone a promotion, popularity, or comfort? That is where real character finally shows itself. Think about a workplace where an honest employee is blamed for a mistake they did not make. Many coworkers may privately know the truth, yet stay silent because speaking up could put their own position at risk. The Spicy Lady Sigma notices who chooses comfort over courage. She also notices the rare person who quietly stands for what is right even when nobody is clapping for them. The same thing happens in friendships. That a friend may be cheerful during celebrations and happy moments. But when life becomes difficult, excuses suddenly appear. Calls become less frequent. Messages go unanswered. It is not always because people are cruel. Sometimes inconvenience simply reveals where you truly rank in their priorities. This is why the Spicy Lady Sigma never rushes to trust someone based on first impressions. She gives people enough time for life to test them. Pressure has a way of removing the mask that polite conversations keep in place. She also applies the standard to herself. She believes integrity means doing the right thing even when nobody would know if she chose. The easier path, that quiet consistency, becomes the foundation of her decisions. Over time, this mindset saves her from disappointment. Instead of being impressed by charming words or grand promises, she watches how people behave when honesty has a price, because in the end, convenience can create good manners. But only character remains steady when doing the right thing becomes uncomfortable. Number 6. She builds an internal reputation before an external one. Most people obsess over how strangers see them. A Spicy Lady Sigma asks a harder question. Can I trust myself when nobody is watching? One of the most overlooked advantages of the Spicy Lady Sigma is that she spends far more time building her character than building her image. Many people work hard to protect their reputation in public, but they pay very little attention to the promises they make to themselves. The Spicy Lady Sigma knows that if she cannot trust herself in private, no amount of praise from other people will ever feel enough. She asks herself a question that many people avoid. Can I rely on myself when nobody is watching? Will I still do what I said I would do if there is no applause, no reward, and no recognition? Those quiet moments reveal far more about a person than any public achievement. Think about someone who promises to wake up early, exercise, learn a new skill, or save money. Nobody would know if they gave up after 3 days. It would be easy to make excuses. The Spicy Lady Sigma understands that every time she keeps a promise to herself, she strengthens something far more valuable than her reputation. She strengthens self-trust. This is why she rarely depends on motivation alone. Feelings change every day. Some mornings you feel excited. Other mornings you feel tired and discouraged. She learns to act according to her values instead of her mood. That consistency slowly builds quiet confidence because she knows from experience that she can depend on herself. People often wonder why some individuals remain calm during difficult situations. It is usually because they have already won hundreds of small battles that nobody ever saw. They have practiced discipline in private long before life tested them in public. The Spicy Lady Sigma understands that confidence is not created by compliments. It is created by evidence. Every kept promise, every honest decision, and every moment she chooses integrity over convenience becomes proof that she can trust the person she sees in the mirror. That is why her confidence feels steady instead of fragile. It is not built on opinions that can change overnight. It is built on years of private choices that no audience ever witnessed. Long before the world believes in her, she has already earned the right to believe in herself. Number 7. She doesn't need everyone to understand her vision. Most dreams die because people seek permission before acting. Point one of the greatest advantages the Spicy Lady Sigma has is that she does not expect everyone to understand where she is going. She knows that new ideas often sound strange before they make sense. That is why she does not waste years waiting for approval, perfect timing, or a crowd to agree with her. She understands that clarity usually comes before acceptance. Many people have good dreams, but those dreams never leave the planning stage because they keep asking too many people what they think. Every opinion creates another doubt. Every criticism makes them hesitate. Before long, they are living someone else's expectations instead of their own purpose. The Spicy Lady Sigma listens, but she does not hand over the steering wheel of her life. She understands that advice is valuable only when it comes from people who have the wisdom or experience to give it. She knows that some people reject an idea simply because they cannot imagine it for themselves. Think about someone who wants to start a business, change careers, or learn a completely new skill later in life. Friends may laugh. Family members may call it unrealistic. Some may even tell her to stay where it feels safe. Many people would give up at that point. The Spicy Lady Sigma quietly keeps learning, keeps improving, and keeps taking small steps. Months or years later, the same people who question her decision often act surprised by her success. She has learned that people usually celebrate results long before they understand the process that created them. That is why she stays patient when others doubt her direction. This does not mean she believes she's always right. She remains open to learning and correcting mistakes. But there's a difference between learning from wise advice and abandoning a meaningful goal because other people cannot see the bigger picture. In the end, she understands a simple truth. Every worthwhile path is lonely at the beginning because it has not yet produced evidence. While others spend their time debating whether something can be done, she is already doing the quiet work that eventually turns doubt into proof. That steady commitment is what allows her vision to become reality. Number 8, she can sit with uncertainty longer than most people. Average people rush decisions because uncertainty feels painful. Point one of the most powerful advantages the Spicy Lady Sigma has is something that looks ordinary from the outside, but is incredibly rare. She can live with uncertainty without letting it control her. While many people feel the need to get answers immediately, she understands that rushing for certainty often leads to the wrong decision. Most people cannot stand not knowing. If someone does not reply to a message, they immediately assume the worst. If a friend starts acting differently, they jump to conclusions. If a new opportunity appears, they either rush into it out of excitement or reject it out of fear. Their emotions demand an answer right away. The Spicy Lady Sigma has learned that emotions are often impatient, but reality is patient. She knows that time has a way of exposing what people try to hide. Instead of forcing answers, she watches carefully and lets situations unfold naturally. Think about meeting someone who seems almost too perfect. They say all the right things and make all the right promises. Many people become emotionally attached within weeks. The Spicy Lady Sigma slows down. She understands that consistency cannot be proven in a few conversations. It takes time. Months later, cracks begin to appear. The promises become excuses. The effort fades. The truth finally reveals itself without her having to chase it. The same mindset helps her in everyday life. If she receives an exciting job offer, she does not allow excitement alone to make the decision. She gathers information, asks questions, and gives herself space to think. She knows that one extra day of patience can prevent years of regret. This does not mean she avoids making decisions. It means she refuses to let panic make them for her. She understands that silence often reveals more than pressure, and patience often uncovers what urgency tries to hide. That is why uncertainty does not frighten her the way it frightens most people. She sees it as part of the process. She trusts that if she stays calm, observes carefully, and waits when necessary, the truth will eventually become clear. In a world that constantly pushes people to react quickly, her patience becomes a quiet advantage that protects her from mistakes many people never see coming. Number 9. She doesn't confuse being liked with being safe. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming friendly people are trustworthy. One of the wisest lessons the spicy Lady Sigma learns is that being liked and being safe are not the same thing. Many people confuse kindness with character and charm with honesty. They believe that if someone is friendly, funny, or easy to talk to, that person must also be trustworthy. The spicy Lady Sigma knows life does not work that way. She has seen people smile while hiding selfish intentions. She has watched others give compliments while secretly competing. She has learned that some of the most convincing people are also the best at wearing masks. That is why she never allows first impressions to make final decisions. She pays more attention to consistency than personality. A charming person can make a wonderful first impression in 5 minutes. Good character, however, reveals itself over weeks, months, and sometimes years. She watches how people treat those who cannot benefit them. She notices whether their actions match their words. She observes how they handle disappointment, success, and conflict. Those moments tell her far more than smooth conversations ever could. Think about a new coworker who is friendly to everyone in the office. They joke with people, give compliments, and seem impossible to dislike. A few months later, they begin taking credit for other people's work or spreading private conversations for personal gain. Their charm never disappeared. It simply covered their true character until the right opportunity appeared. On the other hand, she has also met people who were quiet, socially awkward, or not very expressive. They were not experts at making people laugh or winning attention, but they kept their promises, respected boundaries, and stayed loyal when life became difficult. They proved that kindness and loyalty do not always come wrapped in confidence and perfect conversation. This simple understanding protects the spicy Lady Sigma from many painful disappointments. She refuses to judge people by how pleasant they make her feel in the moment. Instead, she watches how they behave over the time. She knows that charm can open a door, but only character deserves a place in her life. That one distinction changes the quality of her friendships, relationships, and decisions. It helps her build a circle based on trust instead of appearances, and that is an advantage many people do not develop until after they have been deeply betrayed. Number 10. She understands that most power is invisible. Real influence rarely announces itself. One of the biggest advantages the spicy Lady Sigma has is that she understands something many people completely overlook. The loudest person is not always the most powerful. Titles, expensive clothes, and public attention can make someone look important. But real influence often works quietly in the background. The people who truly shape decisions rarely need to announce it. The spicy Lady Sigma has trained herself to look beyond appearances. Instead of asking who is in charge, she asks, who do people turn to before making an important decision? That question often reveals a completely different answer. Think about a company meeting. The manager may be leading the discussion, but before making the final decision, everyone looks toward one experienced employee sitting quietly at the end of the table. Nobody introduced that person as the leader, yet their opinion carries weight because it has been earned over time. That is invisible power. The same thing happens in families. Sometimes the oldest person is not the one everyone listens to there. Maybe a quiet aunt or grandmother whose advice settles disagreements without raising her voice. She does not force people to listen. They simply trust her judgment because she has consistently proven it. The spicy Lady Sigma notices these patterns everywhere. She watches who people naturally protect during difficult times. She notices who remains calm when everyone else starts panicking. In moments of pressure, real influence becomes impossible to hide because people instinctively move toward those they trust the most. This understanding also changes the way she builds her own life. She does not waste energy chasing attention if it comes without respect. She would rather become the person whose opinion carries value than the person who simply attracts the most eyes. She knows that attention can disappear overnight, but earned trust grows stronger with time. That is why she focuses on developing wisdom, reliability, and good judgment. These qualities rarely make headlines, but they quietly shape decisions, relationships, and opportunities. In the end, she understands that the strongest kind of power is often the one nobody notices at first. It does not need applause because its influence can already be seen in the choices other people make. That quiet influence lasts far longer than authority that depends only on position or popularity. Final word's real strength is not measured by how much attention you attract. It is measured by the quality of the life you quietly build. That quote captures the heart of everything we have discussed today. The unfair advantages of the Spicy Lady Sigma are not based on luck, talent, or special treatment. They are built through experience, difficult choices, honest self-reflection, and the courage to learn lessons that many people spend a lifetime avoiding. These advantages may not produce instant results, but over time they create something far more valuable than temporary success. They create wisdom, peace, resilience, and freedom. The truth is, anyone can look confident when life is easy. The real difference appears when life becomes uncertain, relationships become complicated, and difficult decisions have to be made. That is where these qualities begin to shine. They help the Spicy Lady Sigma avoid traps that keep many people stuck and allow her to build a life based on clarity instead of impulse. That if there is one lesson to take away from this video, let it be. Your greatest advantage will never be what other people think about you. It will always be the habits, values, and decisions you continue to build when nobody is keeping score. Those quiet choices shape your future far more than dramatic moments ever will. If you enjoyed this video, share your thoughts in the comments because your perspective adds value to our community. Share this video with someone who would benefit from hearing these ideas and subscribe to join our growing community. Thank you for your continued support. And as always, keep learning, keep growing, and we will see you in the next video. And God bless you. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Nail polish, I'll see you in the next one.